Horns up, Happy New Year, and welcome to a brand new episode of Headbangers Kitchen. My name is Sahil, I'm a death metal musician. And I'm also the author of the recipe book called Keto Life. It's that time of the year, folks. 2020 is behind us, and I think we can all safely say that's a good thing. It's a new year, people have got their New Year's resolutions, you are ready to get back on track with your diet and exercise, and I am here with my Keto for Beginners series to help you out. So today I've got another 3-ingredient keto meal plan for you. It's pretty simple, it's really easy, and make sure you read the blog post on headbangerskitchen.com for all the additional information. I've also done a more elaborate Keto for Beginners series, and you can click here on the I button to watch that video. But anyway, for now, enough jibber jabber, let's get cooking. So for breakfast on the menu is a ham and cheese egg cup or egg muffin. I'm not sure which is the correct term. Is it a muffin? Is it a cup? Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's what you're having for breakfast. For this recipe, you are going to need 2 eggs, some chopped ham, and some of your favorite cheese. The ham is just chopped into small bite-sized pieces, and you can use any ham that you like. You can also use bacon or shredded chicken. The first thing I'm going to do is crack my eggs one at a time into a bowl, after which I'm going to season the eggs with some salt and some black pepper, and then I'm going to beat it. Just beat it. You all know the song, so sing along. Beat it. Just beat it. And then in goes my cheese and also the ham. And then you want to give it all a good mix, because we're done with the animal cruelty for the day, if you know what I mean. Now I'm going to take a ramekin and using my finger and some butter, grease the sides of the ramekin. This ensures that the egg won't stick to the sides, and also you'll have a nice buttery taste to it. Now we're going to pour the egg and cheese and ham mixture into the ramekin. And once you've poured all that in, well, it's going to be time to cook it. And how are we going to do that? Well, option 1 is you pop the ramekin into the microwave for about 90 seconds. Or if you have an oven, then pop it into the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius till the eggs are fully cooked through and the cheese is melted. In fact, while cooking, it's going to rise, and don't worry, it won't spill over or anything, but look, you can see the egg rising above the side of the ramekin. Anyway, once it's cooked, remove it from the oven, and oh mama, that looks so good. Now it will collapse on cooling, so if that happens, don't panic, but just look at it. It's delicious. And you can also make this in bulk in like a muffin tray for your meal prep. Anyway, I'm going to sink my spoon into that, and hi, look at that stringy cheese action. It looks like Spider-Man has been around here. Look, it looks like his web, the string cheese. And also look at how fluffy and delicious that egg looks, and that melted cheese. Oh yeah, that melted cheese. Anyway, this is cheesier than a boy band song, and enough jibber jabber, it's time to taste. Now for lunch you are going to be having fried rice, and not the kind of fried rice that Uncle Roger approves of. This is our ketogenic bacon and mushroom fried rice using cauliflower. For this recipe you are going to need some cauliflower, some mushrooms and some bacon. Now I'm using smoked bacon cubes, but you can use any kind of bacon you like or whatever is available in your local grocery store. Before we start, you want to make sure that you cut the mushrooms into quarters, and I'm not just using 4 mushrooms that you saw, I've got a full bowl of mushrooms. Now to make our cauliflower rice, I will be using the grater attachment of my food processor, but you can also use your regular hand grater. It just takes more work. So to make the rice, I'm going to separate the cauliflower florets from the stem, and I will use the stem and the florets both. Basically, I just want manageable pieces. Then I will grate or rice the cauliflower rather in the food processor. Once that is done, I will transfer it into a bowl. I will season the cauliflower rice with some salt and then I will pop it into the microwave for about 5 minutes to cook. And after 5 minutes, my cauliflower rice is cooked and ready to use. Now to make the fried rice, I will get my wok on the stove and I will add in the bacon to the cold wok. As the wok starts to get hot, the bacon fat will start to render and it will slowly release all that fat. And if you look at this particular bacon I'm using, you will see that it has a lot of fat. So all of that fat is going to render out and basically like the bacon is going to just fry itself. So we don't need any additional oil basically. Now you have to be patient as this takes some time. You want to keep that bacon moving because you don't want anything to burn or stick to your pan. You just want that fat to render out, and basically so much fat is going to come out of that bacon that it's going to literally deep fry itself. I mean, just look at that bubbling away, frying in its own fat. I mean, this is just like bacon heaven. I mean, we could just sell this footage on the black market to food lovers. Anyway, you can see that this bacon has rendered out a lot of fat, probably a lot more than we need. So I'm actually going to remove a good amount of that into like a ramekin or a bowl, and I can use that to cook all my food during the week. You know, just because we're on keto doesn't mean we need to be chugging bacon fat like a crazy teenager at a bar on a Saturday night drinking tequila, if you know what I mean. Anyway, in goes my mushrooms next into the wok, and I'm going to season the mushrooms with some salt and some pepper. I'm not going to go crazy on the salt because the bacon is already salty and we have also salted the cauliflower. But be as generous as you want with the pepper, and you have to just let these mushrooms cook now. If you've ever cooked mushrooms before, you know that they will start to release water, and that's what's going to basically deglaze the bottom of the pan. And we also want to make sure that we cook out all that water because we don't want a soggy fried rice. Remember, it's fried rice, not boiled rice, not wet rice. Water is the enemy here. In fact, look at how much water there is in the pan from these mushrooms. So we just got to cook all this water out. Anyway, once the water has cooked out, I'm going to add a bit of that bacon fat back into the wok because remember, fried rice, not boiled rice, fried rice. And in goes the cauliflower rice, and now you give it all a good mix. Remember, we don't need to cook this for very long because the rice is already cooked. But we do want to fry it a bit, so you want to cook this on a high heat. You want to keep it moving and then let it cook for a bit so that the cauliflower rice can brown a bit on the edges, and move it again and just use your wok skills and be all like professional with it. And yeah, you want to cook it till your kitchen starts to smell like browned cauliflower. And once that happens, just turn off the stove and your bacon and mushroom fried rice is pretty much ready. That's all there is to it. Now don't forget to serve yourself a nice big bowl of that fried rice. Top up the bowl and you've got the simplest and easiest keto fried rice. And how good does that look, my friends? I think it looks great. Anyway, our bacon and mushroom keto fried rice is ready. So it's really important to eat your vegetables, and that's why for a snack, you're going to be eating my 3-ingredient broccoli and cheddar soup. Trust me, broccoli has never tasted better. For this recipe, you are going to need some broccoli, cheddar cheese, and some heavy whipping cream. And no, that's not all the broccoli I'm using. I've actually got 250 grams of broccoli florets for the recipe. That piece you saw was just for representational purposes only. So the first thing I'm going to do is get a pot of water on the stove, and I'm going to season it with some salt. You want it to be nice and salty like the sea. Once the water comes to a boil, I'm going to add in my broccoli, and I'm going to boil it for about 5 or 6 minutes till it's fully cooked. Now you can cover it with a lid and cook it, or you can just keep it open, either is fine. Make sure that the broccoli takes a nice dip into that water. Basically, you occasionally want to drown the broccoli. Anyway, to test if your broccoli is cooked, just run a knife through it and it should cut through like butter. Once your broccoli is cooked, you want to remove it from the water, and I'm going to transfer it directly into my blender because we need to use that to make the soup. Now don't throw away the water in which you boiled the broccoli. You want to reserve about 2 cups of that water because it's just like a broccoli stock and we're going to use it later. So now it's time to blend the broccoli in our food processor, and you want to slowly add that water which we saved. The idea is now to add that broccoli water a little by little till the broccoli is fully blended. Now if you prefer a thick soup, then don't add too much of that water. If you prefer a thin soup, then you add a little more water. Anyway, once it's as thick as you want it, pour it out again into the pot, which you want to make sure is on the stove and the stove is turned on to a low heat. Now don't forget to also rinse out the blender, as you don't want to waste any of that soup. Now we're going to add our cheddar cheese into the soup, and we're also going to add in the heavy whipping cream. And then of course give it all a good mix. Now you want to keep stirring this on a low heat till the cheese and the cream dissolve into the soup and all the flavors get to know each other. Now again, depending on if you want the soup thicker or thinner, you can add some more of that broccoli water, or you can reduce it down on the stove to make it thicker. Also, now is a good time to taste the soup for seasoning, and since mine was perfect, well, that's pretty much it. My soup is ready. Now I'm going to serve the soup in a nice little mug and fill it right up to the top. Then I'm going to throw on a little more of that cheddar cheese and finally some freshly cracked black pepper. Anyway, that's our quick and easy keto broccoli cheese soup ready. And of course, I want to show you just how nice and thick and rich and delicious that soup is. I mean, look at that texture. Oh yeah. Anyway, that's our broccoli soup ready. And finally, for dinner, you're going to be eating a classic chicken parm. Except that this chicken parm has no parmesan in it, but it still tastes delicious. So for this recipe, you are going to need some chicken, marinara sauce, and some mozzarella cheese. I'm just going to be using a store-bought marinara sauce, so it has some sugar in it, but the overall carbs aren't too high and it's okay for me. So you can just buy whatever is available for you and don't get bullied by the keto police. If you want to make your own keto marinara sauce at home, I got a recipe for that. Just click on the I button. Now I'm just using chicken breast for this recipe, but you can use boneless thighs if you like. Now I'm just going to cut off the chicken tenderloin, which is this little extra bit that sometimes comes along with the breast. Depends on where you buy the chicken from really, but taking it off helps us cook things better and more evenly. Now I'm going to season the chicken with some salt and some pepper, and I'm going to season it generously, and of course make sure you season it on both sides. Now to fry the chicken, I'm going to be using my non-stick pan, and I'm going to heat up about a tablespoon of olive oil. Once the oil gets nice and hot, in goes my chicken. And we're just going to cook this on a medium heat for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side. And that's because chicken breast cooks relatively quickly. Alternatively, if you have a meat thermometer, you can use that, and you want to hit about 165 degrees Fahrenheit or 73 degrees Celsius on the thickest part of the breast. Now remember, the chicken tender will cook much faster, so I'm going to flip that first after about a minute or so. And you can already see it's got a nice color on it. After another minute or so, it's time to flip the breasts. And OMG, just look at that golden brown color on those breasts. That's a work of art right there. Food porn at its finest. It looks delicious already, and I'm only halfway through making this dish. Anyway, now I'm going to remove the chicken tender because that's probably done. And you can see there is a bit more space in my pan, which was a tad crowded because it's a small pan. Anyway, just let these cook now till they are done. You may need to flip it once more just to get it warmed up, cook it all the way through, or just use the thermometer and check the temperature, and when it's cooked, remove it from the heat. Now in an oven-proof dish, I'm going to put down some of that marinara sauce. You're going to create a little bed there, and onto that marinara sauce, we're going to place the chicken breasts, and if you're wondering where the tender is, well, I ate that. It was my snack. Anyway, layer on some more of that awesome sauce on top of the chicken breasts, and you can use as much or as little sauce as you like, depending on how strict you're going to be about your macros. And then On goes the cheese. And this is the hard mozzarella that you get, but you can also use fresh buffalo mozzarella, or you can use any other cheese that you like. It's completely up to you. And then this goes into my preheated oven at the highest temperature till the cheese melts and becomes golden brown. And lo and behold, here is the 3-ingredient chicken parm, and that golden brown melted cheese on the top is a thing of beauty. It looks stunning and it's got me drooling already. Anyway, I suggest you wipe the slobber from your chin as well, and our 3-ingredient keto chicken parmesan is ready, and it has no parmesan in it. Of course, I couldn't let you go without cutting into that chicken, because I hate food shows that don't cut into the food. Anyway, enough jibber jabber, time to taste. Alright folks, so that is your 3-ingredient meal plan for the day. You can cook up a big batch of this and eat it for an entire week, or you can rotate it with my other 3-ingredient meal plans. Click here on the I button to watch those videos. And as always, do not forget to read the blog post on headbangerskitchen.com for all the other information you need. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this video, because if you did, please smash that like button and do subscribe to Headbangers Kitchen for more awesome keto recipes. Anyway, till the next episode, cheers and keep cooking. Hey folks, I'm a musician. Click here and listen to some of my music. I also do some non-keto food stuff. Click here and watch one of those videos. Or if you just want more keto stuff, click here and watch another keto video.